Dots going on here.
Well, there we go. Backstage with Chris. The Oven is Your Friend live stream cooking show. Hopefully everybody can hear us and see us.
Yeah, if y'all can see and hear us, just comment down below.
Yeah, let us know you're here.
Looks like we already got a couple people watching, though, from what I can see. We have Janelle's here.
Hello, Janelle.
She says, hello, Chris Ashmel and everybody. I think I need to clean out my oven for this one. I feel that. I just cleaned our oven not too long ago.
Yes,
you gotta prep.
Yep, you put in some serious elbow grease to that one.
Hey, gotta do what I gotta do.
Yep.
Jerry's here.
What's up, Jerry?
Carnivore in the middle of a forest.
Yep.
I never was on this early before to see your trailer. Nice.
Oh, well, thank you very much. By the way, everybody, if you are watching Jerry Carnivore in the middle of a forest, she is on here. Please go over to her channel and say hello to her. She's pushing to get to that 1,000 subscribers on her channel, and she has a lot of fun videos where she speaks her mind, and she's just a funny lady. We just really enjoy Jerry, and we're really glad she's a part of the community. And I told her to make sure to pop into a live stream here and let us know she was here, and then I'd give her a shout out because we'd love to see her channel grow. So make sure to go find her. Carnivore in the middle of a forest.
Yes. Maritza Garza is here.
Hey, Maritza.
She says, hey, everyone, I'm here early. She also says, I need to clean my oven, too.
Yeah, that's a typical thing.
Yeah. She also says, I didn't get my roast yet, so I will be watching and taking notes.
Ah, well, there we go.
Get ready for it. Barry Weems is in the house.
Well, hello, Barry.
He says, hello and good evening. I might have missed you Monday, but not tonight. And yes, I've stopped and done my meal prep and got my meal all ready for the next 3 days.
Oh, good for you, man. That's awesome. We're glad you're being safe and doing your thing.
Yeah. Frank Nicholas says, hello, folks.
Hello, Frank.
Katrina C says, hi, Chris, Ash, and everyone in the chat. Happy Tuesday.
Hello, Katrina, and happy Tuesday.
Yeah. Let's see here. It looks like your mom's watching.
Hello to Mom and Dad.
Maritza says, let's get ready for the oven lesson.
Yes.
Mary Kay Wesling is here.
Hello, Mary.
Says, hey, from Kansas City, Mo.
Yeah.
Bruce is here. Says, howdy, folks.
Hello, Bruce.
And we got Rhonda watching from California.
Oh, hey there, Rhonda.
That's my California girl right there.
Yeah.
Richard Williams says, hello, everyone.
Hello,
from
neighbor.
Copper Hill, Tennessee. Yeah. Kathy Hume is here.
Hello, Kathy.
Says, hello, everyone. Love Tuesday night live streams.
Yeah, it's good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, very cool. Well, if you guys are watching, make sure you hit that like button down there, the thumbs up for me. And if you haven't, if you're watching this video, hit the subscribe button that should have lit up for you and share this video. Guys, we are within less than 400 people of hitting the 100K subscribers mark. Ash and I are so excited about it. We have worked so hard to try to get that first 100,000 to happen, and it's amazing that it has happened as quickly as it has. We are very blessed by all of you, but if you would do us a favor and just like and share and tell people we're here, especially on Tuesday nights, that helps us immensely. Just lets YouTube and everybody else know that this is valuable information. So guys can just let people know we're here and help us hit that 100K. We've got giveaways that are going to happen when that 100K happens, and I've got some really cool stuff. We'll talk more about that. So.
Oh, yeah. It's going to be awesome. Yeah. Very, very excited. Very proud.
It's going to be very, very good. Well, while you guys are all getting settled in, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do tonight. So, The Oven is Your Friend. Kind of an odd title, but the reason that I did this as The Oven is Your Friend is because this can be done with multiple different things. So what I have in front of me is some salmon tonight that Ash and I are going to eat. You can do this with salmon, you can do this with chicken thighs, you could do this with pork chops, you could do this with steak, although me personally, I like steak just out of a skillet better if you're gonna do something like this. That's just my own taste. But like pork and chicken and fish, this is so easy to do. So you can use the exact same technique. You could even season it the same way as I'm gonna season the salmon if you want, and make the exact same sauce, and it would still be great on chicken or on pork of any kind. So the oven is really the technique here, and we're going to talk about, while this is in the oven, how we can make the sauce that goes along with it, and just a few little things that kind of make dinner prep for your family easy. And that's kind of the whole point of using the oven like this, because you can take a large amount of food on a big old baking sheet, slide it in the oven, and you can go do what you got to do. And as long as you set a timer to come back and check on it, and you know when it's going to be done, depending on the kind of meat you're doing, That's it. It's very simple. The oven does all the work. You don't have to like kill yourself to try to make this happen, and it's easy to make it taste good. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna do salmon tonight for us. So
I am very excited.
yeah,
Very happy.
It's gonna be a lot of fun. Do we have any questions before I dive into seasoning some salmon?
Yeah, actually, Tina Drake has a great question.
Sure.
She wants to know, how much weight have you both lost since going carnivore?
Yeah, so I haven't weighed myself in a little while, so it fluctuates somewhere around basically about 130 pounds for me. So that's about 130 for me total, and Ash, I think you're about 100 total.
Yeah, a little over 100.
Yeah, with keto and carnivore between the two of us, we have lost a total of about 230 pounds. So,
We've
and I've
lost
still
it.
got more to lose. Ash does too, but we're also not panicked about that and trying to force it to happen. We're just living our proper human diet life, and it just comes off a little bit at a time. And even when we don't see the scale change, we notice compositional changes in our body where things fit different. You can see pictures of us, we look different, so on and so forth.
Yeah. She says, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
make the point a lot too. We didn't we didn't gain all that weight really quick, so we don't plan on losing it real quick either. So
absolutely. Took
it's,
years.
Rick and Rock. Janelle says, by the way, you're rocking that meat shirt.
Well, thank you very much. Yeah, my beautiful wife got me this shirt for my birthday, and it just is me in a piece of clothing, honestly, with all the different kinds of meat all over it. So
Yeah.
I thoroughly enjoy it. It's very soft, too. It's very nice.
Yeah, it feels nice.
Yeah.
Mike Sutton is here watching from Mexico, by the way.
Well, hey, Mike.
We also have, I believe it's pronounced Jelena, watching from Sydney, Australia.
Very cool. Man, we're starting to just get people all over the place. Isn't that cool?
All of it. We got Mr. Matt Franklin in the house.
Hello there, Matt, and congrats to Sarah. If you guys don't know Sarah Joy, Sarah's Joyful Journey, you guys should go find her on YouTube as well. But she was in the midst of a job search, and I believe she accepted a position.
That's
and
awesome.
She is getting ready to start a new job, so congrats to her.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
Matt says, hello, Chris Ashmel and all the rock stars in the room.
Good to see you, Matt.
Carnivore in the middle of a forest. Jerry says, CCN goes global.
Yeah, that's right. We're trying to.
Yeah, and she says, for sure, you both have lost weight. That's sweet. And Kathy Hume says, rock on.
Yeah, very cool.
Tina Drake also wants to know, do you think you could come up with a recipe for funnel cakes?
Funnel cakes. So I've had that request a couple of times. I'm thinking about that. So funnel cakes would require a dough that would be kind of a soft, liquidy, would become crispy when fried kind of dough. And that's a difficult thing to do as a carnivore, but I'm working on ideas. I have different thoughts that I'm always kind of considering what I would do, and I'm experimenting. So maybe someday. If I do figure it out, you guys on here will be the first to know. So yes, but I will definitely be considering those kinds of dough type things like that. I think that would be very cool. So
Awesome.
yeah, we'll take some more questions in a second, but in the meantime, I have this beautiful fillet of salmon over here, which has been patted dry. And so I'm going to show you guys how I like to do salmon in the oven. Now, if you're doing chicken or pork chops, exact same process. You could use a different seasoning mixture. You could use the same seasoning mixture. You could make the same sauce I'm making, whatever. But the technique basically is the exact same. So you have a baking sheet, and I have parchment paper on this because I don't want the salmon skin to cook down and stick to the cookie sheet, because then it's hard to get it off. If you're doing pork chops or chicken, you probably don't need the parchment paper. It's just because salmon is so delicate and it tends to stick really bad that I have that down there. What's weird about this is we're not actually going to put any fat on this. We're going to let this cook as dry and no fat like added to it as possible, because the fat is going to be in the sauce that goes over it later. So I'm not going to add butter or oil or bacon grease or anything to this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to season this, and in this container here I have a seasoning mixture. My mom actually got this for me for my birthday, but it is salt, paprika, and chili flakes, and onion flakes, and garlic flakes, and a little bit of cumin. And, you know, I don't know what ratios they're in. They're just in there, but it's a really nice seasoning mixture. You can make it yourself at home. Just kind of play around with it. And it's really, really tasty. And it's really good on salmon. So I'm just going to sprinkle seasoning over the salmon fillet. And we're not going to worry about the skin side. We're just worried about the meat side, because that's where the seasoning will work its way into the meat. So we're just going to season generously. I had a comment one time that said something about my recipes are all too seasoned. I like flavor on my food, so You know, I like a lot of seasoning, but if you like less than I do, you're welcome to adjust the amount. So always season to taste. But this is really, really nice. That little bit of chili flake in there. Just a little bit of seasoning, spiciness, not too awful much. And then I'm going to add a little bit of fresh ground black pepper, because I really like that as well. It's a very bold flavored salmon, but it's really nice. And if you have a stronger flavored fish, or if you have like a wild caught, like steelhead type, you know, fish, something like that maybe has a little more flavor, this bold flavoring goes really well. So now here's what makes this really cool. You don't have to do this, but this is a nice addition. What I'm going to do is put some lemon on top of the salmon, because lemon and salmon go so well together. But instead of just squeezing lemon over top of it and getting a bunch of liquid, I'm actually going to slice lemon, and we're going to lay lemon slices over top of it. Now, I did a version of this in a video on my channel, which I've linked in the description for you guys. It's how to get perfect salmon every time. So if you want more detail on this exact cooking technique, you can go watch that video. But essentially, we're going to take a lemon and we're going to cut it into slices, and then we're going to pattern those slices over the fish. It does two things. One, it keeps it moist while it's baking. Two, it's going to flavor that salmon with a little bit of that sort of lemon perfume. So you're protecting the meat, and you're also flavoring the meat simultaneously. And that steam from the lemons, it puts the lemon flavor on the salmon without you getting a bunch of liquid that then all runs off, that then, you know, gets soggy in the bottom. So this is my favorite way of getting the lemon flavor onto the salmon. So what I'm going to do is just cut the little top or the tail off of a lemon. Now here's something about slicing this. I like really thin slices. So if you guys come in here a little bit closer, I'm going to show you something. So on my knife, when I slice something like a lemon, I'm going to take the knife and I'm going to figure out about how thick I want that slice of lemon to be, okay? And that's not very thick. That's very, very thin. If you make a small incision, okay, so it just barely goes down into the lemon, and once you get the knife down in there, if you put pressure this direction, just and not hard, like you're not pushing real hard, but if you get the slice just barely started, you get the knife down in there, and you put a little bit of pressure in this direction as you slice down, it keeps that slice really nice and thin and flat all the way through, because that sideways pressure doesn't let the knife turn out this way to where you like cut out half of the slice off. So that's something that it took me a long time to figure that out, so that I could get those nice, thin, perfect slices like that. And then once I did, I told Ash, I was like, we were getting ready to do this tonight, I was like, I really need to take the time to address how I'm doing that and show that to people, because I've done it for a long time and I never really thought about it. But I mean, you can get like very, very thin slices this way, and it just takes a lot of the struggle out of getting that. So you just start the slice, and then I'm putting pressure towards these fingers, just a little bit of pressure as I slice down, and it just keeps that nice thin lemon slice all the way through. So I'm going to slice up the rest of this lemon, and then I'll show you how we cover the salmon with it.
Carnivore in the middle of the forest, Jerry says, beautiful.
Yes.
Matt Franklin was saying, by the way, that Sarah got her new job and just went over the 500 subscriber mark. First step down, only going up from here.
That is fantastic. Well, congrats to Sarah. I know she's put a lot of work into her channel, and that is fantastic that she has celebrations on multiple fronts in her life today. So everybody go celebrate with Sarah. Go find Sarah's Joyful Journey on YouTube and give her a subscribe. Okay. No, usually one lemon is enough to cover a salmon. I have a second one here just in case, but usually one is enough. So what I'm going to do, and this is why I like these really thin little slices, because we want the flavor, and I want to cover the entire piece of salmon, but I don't want to go through like 6 lemons to do it, because then you just have a bunch of wasted lemon, because you're not getting that much out of a big thick slice like that as compared to a thin slice, but you just kind of end up wasting a whole bunch of lemon if you slice it in big thick chunks. Being able to slice it in these small pieces like this makes a big difference. And then what I do is when I get down to these last couple, I cut them in half, because we don't have that much salmon down here to cover. See? So just like that. And let's take a little bit of the end here. And really, it's not that I'm going to get that much juice out of this, but by cutting off just a little bit more there, we get a little piece, and it just helps protect that last little bit of the tail. Okay, so there's our lemon that's going to go on our salmon. Now all we have to do is place the salmon in our preheated oven. So my oven is preheated to the maximum temperature, and this is the key. You want to take your oven to the very max temperature. I know sometimes people get a little bit afraid of their oven being at that high of a temperature. If your oven is made to go that high, it has the safety features in it that allows it to go that high. So don't be afraid of it. Crank it up on high, because when you get it all the way up on high, that sudden blast of hot heat cooks everything on the outside, and as it starts to cook through, it starts to add a little color on the outside, and you get a much better cooking response in your protein than if you try to do it real low. Because if you get it real low, it's going to get overcooked, starts to dry out, and it takes longer. It's a pain in the butt. So you want really nice high heat for this technique. So I'm going to take my salmon with my lemon wedges here, and that is going to go into a preheated oven at 525 degrees is the maximum that I can do. And then I'm going to show you guys how I know when it's done, because I'm not going to set a timer, which is weird for me, but I'm not going to set a timer. I'm going to check it, and I'll know when it's done. In the meantime, I'm going to dice up a shallot.
Awesome. Speaking of ovens, Madison by the Sea says, thanks. Crazy, but I got your notification and my oven was on. I forgot to turn it off and it had been on for 4 hours. You probably saved my life. LOL.
Well, I'm glad there was a little bit of serendipity there that we were able to help you remember to turn the oven off. So
yeah, do what we can.
That's right.
Let's see here. Just Susie's Thoughts is in the house.
Well, hi, Susie.
Says hi, everybody. And says, getting ready to make some salmon now with a side of steamed shrimp.
Oh, that sounds good.
Reese's Clutter Kitchen is here. Says, good evening, all.
Hello, Risa.
You're getting lots of compliments on your shirt, babe.
Oh, well, thank you guys very much.
Laura Blunt says, link to meat shirts.
Well, I have to see if Ash can send that link to me. Maybe I can put that on my community tab for you guys sometime.
Yeah, and lots of people are saying just great tip on the lemons and how you slice them. I am Jazzy Jude says, great tip. Now I can practice on my lemon/limes. Thank you.
You're very welcome.
Mary Kay Wesling says, great tip. Francine says, such a cool tip. Thank you. Let's see here. Who else we got? Carnivore in the Middle of the Forest says, such quality and perfection.
Oh, we try.
Yeah. Mary Kay Wesling wants to know about how many pounds is your piece of salmon?
I think that one was, I honestly, I didn't look at the sticker, but I think it's probably somewhere around 2 to 2.5 pounds. So it's a pretty good sized salmon fillet. It was a pretty good sized fish.
Yeah. Carnivore in the Middle of the Forest, Jerry says, just like the fancy Michelin restaurants. Bravo.
Well, I don't know if it's Michelin star worthy, but we certainly try to keep it as refined as we can. And that's the thing, guys. The reason Michelin star restaurants have Michelin stars, it's not that the ingredients they're using are that much different than what you and I have access to. It's just the technique of everything is so refined. And the more you refine your technique, the more things you can do with the same ingredients. So it's really cool. So I'm going to take my skillet here, and I'm going to set this onto medium, and I'm going to take a little bit of butter, and we're going to saute up a shallot that I just diced up.
Yum.
We're going to make a riff off of my Bermonte. So the Bermonte is, I've linked that video down below for you guys if you have not seen it. The Bermonte is basically just an emulsified butter, which is super cool, and that's all well and good, but you can do so many more things with it than just Bermonte. So one of the other things you can do is actually designed like sort of like a Norwegian style butter sauce. This is kind of a riff off of almost more of a Norwegian style butter sauce instead of a French style butter sauce. So a French style Bermonte is just butter, and then you can add a little bit of seasonings into it. A Norwegian style butter sauce actually has some cream, and things like shallots are really good in it, or some other things. It goes really well with citrus and salmon and those kinds of things. So I'm going to put in a shallot that I diced up nice and fine here. And we're just going to saute that with, I put in like a teaspoon or so of butter. I didn't measure it because, you know, I don't really measure stuff that often. You guys know. That's why there's no recipe cards for my live streams, because they're not really recipes. If there's an actual recipe I'm using, I always link it in the description box for you, because I will have done a video about it. So we're just going to saute these shallots. Now, when you saute something like shallots or onions or any of this kind of stuff, it always, always, always helps. You don't have to have a lot, but a little pinch of salt, because the salt will help to pull moisture out of it. And as that moisture cooks off, it'll saute up softer. So it just helps to saute a little bit better by adding that little pinch of salt in there, especially if you want to caramelize in it anyway. This also smells amazing already, because this is a grass-fed butter from an Amish farm that's here in Tennessee that we got. We were at Whole Foods on my birthday, and I picked up this roll of this grass-fed Amish dairy butter. So good.
Oh yeah, it's delicious. Francine says, almost to 100,000. Woohoo!
We're almost there. We're almost there, guys. It's gonna be. We're hoping within a few days to a week that we're gonna cross over. And when we cross over, I do have some giveaways. I'll go ahead and tell you guys. The Tasty Air Fryer that I did the video on, we're gonna send that to somebody. I have a knife set that we're gonna have a video coming out on Thursday of how to break down a chicken, featuring this knife set that a company wanted me to test out and give my opinion on, so I was glad to do that. I'm going to put in a couple of spoonfuls of water to these shallots now. And we're going to give that knife set away because I don't need to. And we have the Chef's Temp thermometer probe that I did the Chef's Temp video on. We're going to give that to somebody. And who knows, there might be some other stuff we'll end up giving away. You never know. Mm-hmm. So we have some really cool stuff that we're going to do for everybody. So you guys make sure to keep an eye on the channel, because when we hit 100K, we will announce how we're going to do that. So, okay, so we have a couple of spoonfuls of water, and I'm just going to put in a couple little chunks of butter here, just like I'm making the beurre monte, except I'm not really measuring right now. I wouldn't necessarily recommend you guys do it this way. I've just done it this way so much, I can kind of make it happen. So I did link the beurre monte video, so you can go down there, and essentially I'm making about like a half recipe of beurre monte, but I'm starting with the shallots in the pan beforehand. So different technique, similar concept, and then we're going to add some more stuff to it, which will really change the outcome, because like I said, Norwegian butter sauce is not that far off of a beurre monte, but it's got a little bit of cream and some other stuff added in, so we're kind of riffing on that today.
Yum. Maritza says, wish we had smell-o-vision.
Yes, this is very, very tasty stuff. Smells amazing. I wish you guys were here to smell it.
Phoenix, RYU, says, I have a bowl of ground beef, some eggs, and Chris on my screen. It must be a Tuesday.
There you go, man. That's the way you do it. I used to love, especially when I ate a standard American diet, but even now as a carnivore, I love the idea of like sitting down with your dinner and putting something good on TV that you like watching, especially if it's also food related, and sitting there and watching all that together while you eat. Like, that's just something really entertaining about doing that I always enjoyed.
Nostalgic.
Okay.
Do you have time for a quick question?
Absolutely. I'm just whisking this together.
Awesome.
We're just going to do this for a little bit.
Awesome. I'll say, you just tell me when you're ready. But Susan Austin has a great question.
Okay.
It says, hi, my first time watching a live video.
Well, hi, Susan. We're really glad you're here. Thank you for stopping in.
Yeah. Says, I wonder if you have an idea for breadcrumbs that doesn't contain pork, gluten, almond flour, or other high oxalate foods, or soy.
Yes, I have a video on YouTube of making your own chicken flour. And if you go look that up, you can take chicken breast and turn it into a chicken flour, a dehydrated chicken flour. It works fantastic as a breading, and you can use it in any of my recipes where I call for pork rind crumbs. You can swap it out with chicken flour, just 1 for 1, no problem. That's what I would recommend. I also use that for like chicken tenders. So good.
Yeah.
So good.
It's delicious.
And it's
really
way cheaper to make it yourself than it is try to buy it from the companies that sell it. Believe me, it's like a third of the price or maybe less even.
Yeah. Speaking of breadings, Tina Drake wants to know, she says, I want some catfish. What would you suggest to get as close to cornmeal breading as possible?
For the texture of cornmeal breading, I would actually also, for that, use my chicken flour, and then I would include some pork rinds that were not ground up super fine. If you want to get close to a cornmeal breading, that's probably the closest you're going to get for something like that. That would be what I would recommend.
Cool.
Okay, so there's our butter melted in. Now we're going to add a little bit of cream. And again, I'm not really measuring because, what can I say? I'm a rebel.
Wild man.
It's
Wild
me.
man in a meat shirt.
That's me. That's how I do.
Karen says, salmon is a favorite of mine. My dad was a big fisherman, and we always had fresh salmon. I sure miss those days.
Yes, salmon is just fantastic. Also, all of those omega-3s that you need in your diet, like salmon, especially the wild-caught fatty, good salmon, I mean, that is just full of that, and it's so good for you. So Ash and I try to have salmon once every couple of weeks, usually.
Yeah. It's a big deal. Yeah, when I first met you, I would not eat any seafood whatsoever.
Yep.
And that has quickly changed.
Salmon was the gateway drug that got you into it.
It was.
Now you love seafood.
I do. All thanks to you.
Corrupting the world one plate at a time.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. Got to make sure I'm eating my meat, living my life.
That's right.
Know? Yeah. Barry Weem says, bet this would be also good with lime and cilantro or any kind of citrus.
Absolutely. It would be a great way of doing it. And that's the thing, you guys can modify the seasoning. I'm just using a seasoning mixture that I really enjoy, but you can modify the seasoning mixture however you want. I just put a little pinch of salt in there, but you can see this cream is starting to thicken up and turning this into a sauce. You could do lime and cilantro and Mexican type seasonings. You could do dill, and you could do lemon, and you could do whatever. If you were so inspired and you didn't mind it on your diet, you could get an orange, and you could do slices of orange over top of it, and you could do like a little bit of almond crust on the fish. There's all different kinds of ways to do this. And like I said, you can do this with pork, you can do this with chicken. You don't have to use the citrus at all, but the citrus is really nice, and it does kind of protect the meat from the high heat of the oven being at 525.
Yeah.
Speaking of, I can hear the salmon is starting to sizzle a little bit in there in the oven, which is perfect.
Yes. Janelle says, hit the thumbs up, everyone.
Yes, guys, please hit the thumbs up. Let YouTube know that this is an important video.
Mary Kay Westling says she'll get a nice silver plaque from YouTube when you hit 100,000.
Yes, we're really excited about that. Dustin from Keto Simple. If you guys don't subscribe to Keto Simple, you should go subscribe, because Dustin is just a really nice dude, and he has a lot of really good content, a very supportive group of people. He's really great. And he was talking about, he was like, man, I kind of want to come to Nashville and sleep on your couch so I can be there when you unbox your play button, because I've never gotten to be anywhere and actually have someone unbox it in front of me live. So it's
Maybe
very
we'll
funny.
have a watch party or something.
That's right. That's
There you
right.
go.
Well, maybe we'll do a live stream. That'd be cool. We'll do a live stream unboxing.
That would be awesome. I think you'll really appreciate this comment from our girl Juju2407.
Yeah.
She's here tonight commenting. She says, hubby is finally all in on the ketovore life.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Says he's tolerated my food, but he's finally seen the light after 7 years.
Well, there you go. See, that's what you guys get to do. You slowly influence people and just encourage them, and you do it politely and kindly. And especially with the recipes that I do, we've got kind of transition foods that make it not seem so scary, which is why I do what I do, and then we just save the world a little bit, one piece at a time, one plate at a time. We're changing the world. That's what we do. So
right.
That's fantastic.
She also just says, speaking of your recipes, in a comment down below that I just saw, says, not gonna lie, I think your chicken noodles pushed him off the ledge.
Well, I'm really glad
that
he enjoys those so much. I mean, to be honest with you, I really feel that way about that recipe too, because Ash and I were talking about that as we were coming back from the grocery store today with stuff for the live stream that we had to go get. And I said, that recipe is so easy to customize and use for so many different things. And I was like, I'm really happy that I have that recipe now, because it makes my life nicer. I mean, it's not just about all the people out there that are enjoying the recipes. I enjoy the recipes, and it helps me stay stable, and it helps us have options too. So you know?
In fact, I think we're going to have some cold pasta, carnivore pasta,
Yep.
tomorrow night.
Yep, we're going to do a seafood pasta salad along with some pork ribs tomorrow night. So
Yeah.
do kind of a carnivore / ketovore kind of cookout vibe going on.
Oh yeah, good stuff.
All right, see how thick this sauce has gotten now with that cream cooked in there, and as we've emulsified the butter in there. This is about the last of the butter I'm going to put in, and that'll be our sauce done. I'll just taste it for seasoning, make sure it's good.
Yummy.
See how nice and thick that's gotten? Beautiful.
It looks so good.
Mm-hmm.
It smells so good.
And the thing is with the cream in here, this is a lot more stable than just a plain like Bermonte sauce would be. So you don't have to worry so much about this splitting on you once you get it to this point. You just kind of want to generally keep it sort of warm, but you can actually refrigerate and reheat this if you're careful with it. So.
Oh, hey, so I guess Dustin's ears must have been burning.
Oh.
Maritza was talking about how great he is and how much we love watching him and Sunday morning coffee. And he literally just popped in and said, hey, Chris and Ash.
Well, hey, Dustin, we were just talking about you, buddy, and how great you are.
Yeah.
So, now just don't show up and prove me wrong.
Dustin, you ignore my husband. he thinks he's funny.
I am funny, and Dustin knows it.
Ah, yeah. You're a hoot, babe.
Oh,
Is it
man,
good?
that is so good. So what I'm going to do, actually, I'm not going to go ahead and cut that other lemon just because there's no reason to cut it for just a little bit, but I'm going to put a drop of lemon juice in this just to cut through the fattiness of it because it's so good, it's so rich, you could leave it just like it is, but I like to balance it out. Cut through the fat just a little bit with a little lemon juice. That's going to be amazing over that salmon.
Oof. I'm getting hungry.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's not going to be too awful long, and dinner's going to be ready because I can hear that salmon a-cooking. In fact, here in a second, I'm going to go over. I'm going to show you guys how I test it to see if it's done.
Awesome.
Ready?
Yeah.
All right. So that's whisked in there. Let's go ahead and make sure that's good. Oh, yeah. Lemon cuts right through the fat. Just makes it more balanced. Beautiful. You can taste that grass-fed butter. Okay. So we're going to check this salmon. And we're going to see how everything's looking. So it's looking beautiful. So the first thing is you can see the lemons start to kind of brown around the corners, which is perfect. That's exactly what we want. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to come here into the center of the fish on this thick part. So this is kind of a humped up chunk right here. And I'm going to push gently. And when I push, if it starts to flake, I know that it's done. So this has about 3 minutes to go. It's almost done, but it's just not quite there. That's going to be so good, though. But I mean, you guys can see how quick salmon cooks like this. And you don't have to worry about setting a timer. I'm just making a sauce while it's doing its thing. I'm checking on it. It's like, is it flaky yet? Yeah, it's flaky. Okay, cool, it's done. Dinner's served. I mean, it is that simple. It really, really is. And by getting your finger down in there and touching the salmon, you learn the texture of salmon that is cooked perfectly. And you'll probably end up overcooking one at some point. I've done it. When you overcook it, you go, okay, well, this is why it felt different than when it's cooked properly. And then you get better at knowing when salmon is done without really even having to stick your finger down in there. That's how you get better at it. So, any questions while we are waiting on this salmon to finish up?
Yes, sir.
All right.
For starters, Mr. Barry Weems is here and says, watching you make that sauce reminds me of how my mom and grandma cook. They would never measure anything out.
Yeah. You know, I think there's a skill set that has really been lost in the world where you know how to take ingredients and put them together, not because you've measured everything out to the exact amount, but some recipes you need to do that because you just won't get it right otherwise. But a lot of recipes, you don't need to measure it to an exact amount. You just need to understand what is the chemistry, what is the physics that's going on, how does this actually work, and then you learn to cook on the fly. That's why I started doing these live streams, and that's why I don't do the actual recipe card thing with my live streams, because when I'm doing these recipes, I'm not measuring anything. Ash will tell you, I hate the fact that I have to get measuring spoons out when I do. I just prefer to cook without measuring. Unless I absolutely have to measure, I don't want to measure. I want to be able to look at the food and have an instinctual understanding and have a relationship with how I cook to where I can look at it and say, that looks a little watery. I need to cook that down more and thicken it up. Or that looks like it's not, you know, like this. I'm looking at it and I'm like, it didn't look like it had enough butter. So I kept working on it and adding more butter until it was emulsified, and I'm like, yeah, that's the right amount, because it has the right texture, and I can see it. And then I taste it, and I go, it's a little fatty. I need to add a little bit of lemon juice just to cut the flavor of that fat slightly. So I put in a splash of lemon juice. I think it's the best way to cook, and it's the way that's the most freeing, because if you're in the kitchen and the only thing you know to do is follow a recipe to the letter, and then you do it, and then the recipe's not working, you don't know what to do. Because you've never learned, okay, well, why is the recipe written the way that it is, and then how can I modify it, or how can I do things on the fly? So I appreciate you noticing that, Barry. That's why I love to cook that way, and that's why I do these live streams for you guys to ask questions, because I love teaching everybody else to do it too.
Keto Simple says, I've always just thrown stuff together. I grew up cooking with my great-grandma when I was small.
Yes.
And then
yes.
Maritza says, I always say when my ancestors start to scream, stop.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Awesome.
All right, let's go ahead and pull out that salmon. Our sauce is nice and thick and beautiful. We're going to plate this up, and I'm going to show you guys this incredible salmon. And again, you can do this with pork chops. You can do this with chicken thighs. And mostly they're going to cook a few minutes longer than the salmon, but very similar amount of time. And especially if you have something like a thermometer, or you can learn the texture of pork when it's done, the texture of chicken when it's done, etc. That makes a big difference. This is another thing you can see. This little white bit right here, this is fat that is cooking up out of the center of the salmon. So you actually know it's cooking down in there. See right there, you can see it start to flake. See it starting to pull apart? It's very hot, but that right there, when it starts to flake like that, in the thickest part of the salmon, you know it's done.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Babe.
So all we need to do is get ourselves some fancy kitchen gear here. And we're just going to peel these lemon slices away. And just set them off to the side. Now they've done their duty, but if you want to put them on the plate and you want to squeeze a little bit of that roasted lemon over your salmon, you're more than welcome to do that too. But they're mostly dried out. Most of that liquid has cooked out of the lemon, and the lemon has left its flavor behind on the surface of the salmon. It's protected it, so nothing has dried or burned out.
Yeah. Charlotte Estes is here and says, can't go wrong with fish and lemon.
Yeah, that's right. That's a great combination.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we're just going to peel our lemons off, and then this is very, very hot. So I'm going to plate it up over here so I do not burn myself, because this is live TV, but I would like to not make it worse than necessary.
No one's died or bled out or anything yet. On a live stream. We've kept it pretty chill.
No one has died yet.
Yep.
That's the key. Now, I'm going to get a big piece because we eat meat in this house.
We eat meat. Yes.
We eat meat.
Yes, we do.
Okay. Now, if you really like that salmon skin, it is very good for you. This still has the scales on it. I'm not particularly interested in it right now, but if it comes away with the meat, that's fine. If it doesn't and it stays on the board, that's fine too. There we go. And you can see it's nice and flaky, but still very juicy. Beautiful. We take our sauce.
Kathy Hume says that looks delicious.
I think you're correct. I think it's going to be amazing. Just like so.
Yummy.
And then, because I never know when to leave well enough alone,
Yum.
And there's the salmon. Now you could do this, like I said, with a pork chop. You could do it with a chicken thigh. You could do it with chicken drumsticks. The chicken thighs could be boneless and skinless. They could have the bone and the skin in them. It's up to you how you guys want to do it. But it's such an easy way of doing this. As long as you get the cooking temperature right, you're good to go. So, yeah.
Oh, it's delicious.
Yeah. Do you want to?
I would love.
Give that a try there.
Let's see. Let's look at this delicious salmon. Oh man, look at how it just like cuts with a fork too. It's like so soft. It's a tough job. Someone's got to do it.
Someone's got to do it.
Oh my gosh. That is delicious.
Mm-hmm.
It really is like perfectly cooked.
The fish is so smooth and so buttery in texture. Mm-hmm. And then when you throw the sauce in there with it, it's so nice.
And I like the lemon too. It's like very refreshing, and it's just like a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, sometimes I think with lemon and seafood, they can kind of overpower it. With lemon, where I just taste too much of it.
Absolutely.
But that is, I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
I mean, that's an understatement. It's super good.
Get a little bite with that sauce on it. Yeah.
Yeah, the sauce is a winner. I could honestly,
So
that
good.
sauce, you could probably put that on anything and I'd probably eat it.
Oh yeah, this sauce is so good. It's amazing with seafood, but it's really good with any kind of protein, especially if the protein has like a soft texture. The sauce really complements it well. So.
Yes. Karen says, you definitely got me drooling here in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
Keto Simple says, looks like perfection. Salmon that's buttery and tender is just the best.
It really is.
Carnivore in the Middle of the Forest says, Jerry stands up and does a slow clap. Take a bow, Chris.
Thank you very kindly, Jerry.
Yeah. Matt Franklin says, delicious salmon on a fancy schmancy plate. Looks amazing.
Yes.
Maritza says, OMG looks incredible. Getting lots of clapping hand emojis. Janelle says, time for Mel to show up.
Oh yeah, she's asleep over there right now because she has already been fed. And I think she has had a long day. We have been busy all day, so she is. Puppy dog, are you asleep over there? Melody.
Hey, they're looking for you. You know,
That's
dinner's
right.
ready. Here, she's like,
That's
oh,
right.
wait.
Come out here and make your cameo.
Yeah.
You have fans. No, don't come in here to me. I don't have any food for you.
She, I will say, loves salmon skin. I usually, I give it to her. Like if I don't want to eat all of it, I give her a little salmon skin.
Yeah.
So good for your puppers.
Oh yeah, that skin, the fat and the omega-3s and the, I mean, even like the collagen and stuff when it comes to like the scales and stuff, if those are still on. I mean, dogs love that stuff and it's so good for them.
Oh yeah. She's a big fan. She's now going back to the corner to sleep. She's a tired girl today. Busy day for her.
She is.
Let's see. Barry Weems says, yummy, yummy, yummy. Oh, did I say yummy? You rock, Chris.
Appreciate that very, very much. This is such a good recipe, you guys.
It is.
I think you'll really, really enjoy this one.
I will say too, it didn't take you at all that long.
No, I mean it's what 6:44, and I mean we didn't even start cooking until probably 5 minutes or 10 minutes so into the hour.
It was literally like a few minutes prep time, and then I'm just, you know what, about maybe 20 in the oven.
It's extremely simple. It's extremely simple. It goes very quickly, and you can do it in very large portions. So if you have a family to feed, you know, if you want to feed the family salmon, if you can afford to, you know, feed a whole bunch of kids a whole bunch of salmon, like by all means go for it. You know, Ash and I eat a lot of salmon. When we sit down, mostly what we're eating is just salmon. So we'll eat this entire fillet of salmon, just the two of us tonight, but that's pretty much all we're going to eat. If you are feeding a family and you wanted to do salmon and then do some like, you know, other sides with it or whatever, cool. And if you're like, hey, we're trying to do carnivore, but we don't want to have to spend the money on like, you know, a great big thing of salmon like that, cool. Go get pork chops when they're on sale. Do this exact same thing. All you got to do is make sure the center of that pork chop is cooked the way you like it.
Yeah.
So, which probably will take a similar amount of time to the salmon, maybe just a few minutes longer.
Yeah. It's super good. And that sauce, like I said, put it on anything.
Oh yeah, you could put that on. You could put that on a car tire, and it would taste good. I'm sure.
Yeah, probably so.
So, and I mean, you guys saw. I just made it right in front of you. I didn't even measure. It's easy with the cream in there. The cream makes it so much more forgiving. It's very, very simple.
Yeah, Keto Simple says when salmon is on sale, we'll buy like 5 pounds and eat it in one night.
Yep.
And then Marissa says hoping salmon is on sale this week. Jerry says Rachel Ray ain't got nothing on you. Super funny.
That's because she cooks with that EVOO, as she says.
EVOO, that's hilarious. Susan Austin says, I have Chris's meat sticks made with ground beef in my smoker right now. Not quite done, but the flavor is amazing.
Oh, that sounds really good.
We also got Holly Springer here.
Hey, Holly.
Yeah, we love Holly. We know Holly's name.
Yeah.
Holly says, hey, Chris and Ash, is my other South Carolina, Carolinian Victor from Southern Keto in the chat. Hoping Victor is weathering Debbie tropical storm well. We have had 2 small tornadoes on the coast. Do you know if Victor's all right?
I have not talked with Victor today. I was talking with him yesterday, and I think everything was good. So I'll have to follow up with him either this afternoon or tomorrow and just make sure they're all good. So.
Yeah. Well, y'all stay safe.
Yeah. Lots of prayers for all the people that have been in the path of all the storms down there, and just hope everybody is safe and going to be all right. So, yeah.
Your parents also said, would like for the community to keep Dad and I in their thoughts and prayers. School starts tomorrow. Dad driving and me trying to convince teenagers to read books. Only 180 school days to go.
Yes, yes. My mom works in the library at the high school there where she and my dad both graduated. She used to be a teacher there and has since moved over into library because of classroom politics and just wasn't able to do the things for students she was really passionate about anymore. So she works in the library. My dad is a school bus driver and runs a school bus driving business there, and the both of them take care of a lot of kids every day. So definitely praying that everything goes well for them this year. So.
Scott Babel says, salmon looks great. Do a swordfish recipe next, please.
Oh, man, that'd be a great idea. You know, I don't know if I've ever actually cooked swordfish myself. I would have to...
We're going to have to try it.
I would have to contemplate how I would do that. But I do know they sell it at Whole Foods. We were just there to get the stuff for my birthday dinner, and I saw it there. So maybe we'll have to do that sometime if I can find some that's fresh when they've got it.
Absolutely. Kathy Hume is so sweet. She just gave you a $19.99 super thanks.
Oh, Kathy, thank you so much. You have no idea how much that helps us afford to do these things.
Yeah, she says, thanks for another quick and healthy dinner idea.
Oh, you're very, very welcome. It is a passion and a pleasure to get to do this for you guys, and everything like those super chats makes so much of a difference for us. The Patreon and the YouTube members, shout out to all of them, and the band, those links are down below. That's how we afford to do this as well. All of you guys that support us, it just makes such a difference because we love being able to do this, and you guys being right there with us and helping us fight the battle makes all the difference in the world.
For sure. We really appreciate it. One last question, and then I think we're all caught up.
Great.
If you want to eat your yummy, yummy salmon.
I think it's time.
Yeah. Barry Weems says, well, since I don't have an oven in my truck, could I cook this in an air fryer?
Yes, absolutely could do this in an air fryer. What I would suggest is you do the exact same thing, the max temperature on an air fryer. Now in an air fryer, it's going to cook faster, so you'll definitely want to check it probably every 3 to 5 minutes. And same thing, when you open up the air fryer and you push it and it starts to flake, should be good to go. And if you're really concerned about that, you can always get like a little portable temperature probe of some kind. I've actually got one I'm going to be experimenting with. I might show you guys next week if it works really well. Just a little freebie that was sent to me from my kitchen. So I might show it to you guys if I find that it is useful and maybe something you might be interested in as well. Something like that though, you know, you could take that on the road with you and you could open up the air fryer and just make sure the salmon was the temperature you like it, and you're good to go.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. We have a few videos coming out on Thursday. We're planning to release that knife set video where I'm showing you how to break down a couple of different ways of breaking down a whole chicken, because a whole chicken, when it goes on sale, is much better price per pound of meat that you get than if you try to buy the pre-cut pieces. So it's not nearly as intimidating as it looks like it is. You just have to know the anatomy of the chicken and where to make the right cuts. So I'm going to show you exactly how to do that, and then I'm going to show you also how to completely debone the chicken. And I'm using this really cool knife set from a company called Knife Saga, which is the one we're going to give away when we hit 100,000 subscribers, along with Tasty Air Fryer and the other things we're giving away. And then I have 2 recipes that are going to be coming off of that. One that I did with the pieces of chicken, and then one that I'm doing with the totally deboned chicken. And I think both of them are super cool. I think you're really gonna love them. So that knife video and breaking down the chickens is on Thursday. So you guys make sure to go watch that and learn how to save some money by breaking down a whole chicken for yourself. That also gives you the carcass and the bones. You get to make bone broth, and you can have the skin if you wanna make chicken chips or whatever. So really, really cool. And that's a great way to save money on chickens. Also, on Saturday, we have the chuck roast coming out, which if you guys watched my mashed potatoes 2.0 video that just dropped this past Saturday, that chuck roast was also on that same plate. And my dad and I cooked that chuck roast and the gravy that went with it together. So my dad's in the kitchen with me on that video. That's dropping on Saturday. I'm showing you how to do that, and it's in a slow cooker. But on the recipe card, I also have options for a pressure cooker and a Dutch oven in your oven. So super cool. Very flexible. You can make it keto or you can do it fully carnivore. That's going to be a lot of fun. Ash also has a video coming out soon. Would you like to tell everybody what's dropping on Friday?
Oh, we're dropping the music video for my current single Cigarette on Friday. And my wonderful, super cute hubby over here actually filmed and directed and edited it.
Yeah.
So I didn't have that much to do with it other than showing up, but he's worked really hard on it, and
I don't know about any of that.
Excited for people to see it.
Yeah, it's going to be really, really cool. We've worked long and hard on this music video. The track is doing really well. The music video is just going to be another additional element that I think is going to do really well and garner a lot of attention from people in the industry because Ash is amazing. So I think it's going to be really great, but we'd love for you guys to go see that. So Ash Taylor Country, you can find her stuff. You can go to ashtaylor.com, find all of her stuff, but that's going to be dropping on Friday as well. We'd love for you guys to go check that out. And don't forget, we do live streams here every Tuesday night at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time, just like we're doing tonight. We also, on my Studios channel, my CCN Studios Health channel, which is linked in the description box, we do Monday morning motivational live streams. And even if you can't join us at 10 a.m. Central Standard Time when we do them live, you can go back and watch them after the fact sometime on Monday afternoon or evening or whenever you're free, and use it as a way to just get motivated for the week, because we want to support you guys. We want to be here for you. We want to spread some love, and we want you guys to be able to be a part of a community and support each other. So that's what we do over there. And we're also going to be doing some health sort of research-based videos. They're going to have some really good information, I think, from the perspective of a chef who is trying to figure out how to take care of his own health here. So we've got a lot of really cool stuff. We appreciate you guys very much. Go check all of that stuff out. If you have questions, you can always find me. It's chriscookingnashville.com. And of course, my email is info@chriscookingnashville.com. You know where I am on all the social medias. We just love you guys. We're really glad that you're here. Make sure you have a wonderful rest of your week. This is Chris Cooking Nashville, my beautiful wife, Ash Taylor, back there behind the camera. Eat your meat, especially when it looks like some salmon from your oven, because your oven is your friend. Love your life. We're going to see you guys here in the kitchen for a bunch more live streams and really cool recipes. Bye, guys.
Bye.